Coming up on WMLT News, Veterans Day was this past week.
Plus, a California man could win an election, but he's dead. All this and more starts right now. Hello and welcome to WMLT News. I'm Daryl Johnson.
And I'm Patrice Mitchell. We here at WMLT would like to thank veterans for their service to our country. As a part of Veterans Day celebrations, many local businesses offered free and discounted services and products to anyone who served in any branch of the United States military. Also, here at Concord, a veteran and Concord alum, Tom Davis, was honored for his 2-decade career in the military in a special ceremony on Wednesday, November 12th.
At 10:30 a.m. today, the United States was officially declared Ebola-free. Dr. Craig Spencer, a New York City-based physician who was diagnosed with Ebola while treating patients in Guinea, was dismissed from Bayview Hospital today Ebola-free. Using what Spencer knew of treating his patients in West Africa, Dr. Laura Evans was able to nurse him back to health, thus making him the United States free of the virus now. Details on what they did to help cure Dr. Spencer have yet to come to light, but we know now that the disease is in fact treatable.
This year's November 4th midterm elections played out differently than in the past nationally. The election showed many states which typically go blue lighting up the screen red. The Republicans took control of both the House and the Senate, which could spell a standoff for President Obama's last 2 years in office. Voters in the House race cast their votes 52% for Republicans and 45% for Democrats. Locally, West Virginia saw a lot of firsts in this year's midterm election. The first Latino elected into Congress in West Virginia history is Republican Alex Mooney. An 18-year-old college freshman was elected to West Virginia House of Delegates. Republican Sarah Blair defeated her Democratic opponent with 63% of the vote. Shelley Moore Capito is the first woman to represent West Virginia in the upper chamber. She is also the first Republican from West Virginia in 55 years. The GOP also hasn't had the majority in West Virginia House of Delegates in more than 8 years.
Stay tuned, there will be more WMLT news after the break.
Concord University is also preparing to renovate 2 of its residence halls. Jesse Stevens has more.
Constructed in 1968, the Tower's residence halls are the newest dormitories on Concord's campus. North Tower houses female students, while its twin, South Tower, houses males. Each building holds approximately 330 students. As the wear and tear of the years has become apparent, Concord University executives made the decision to renovate both halls. The renovation of North Tower is set to begin in March of 2015. It will continue throughout the summer and is scheduled to conclude around the end of the year. South Tower's renovation will begin in the spring of 2016 and conclude the following winter. Throughout this time, students living in these residence halls will temporarily live in an empty dormitory. To minimize the inconvenience of students, the renovations will take place in blocks. As a certain wing of the affected residence hall is being worked on, the students who live in this section will be temporarily moved. Resident assistants will be available to help in every way necessary.
During the renovations, the RAs will be assisting people who are moving rooms when the renovations are taking place where they're currently living at. South Tower will be moving to some people to the Waddell and to Sarvey, or throughout this building until they're full. And then North Tower, the same with Wilson and Sarvey. And as RAs will be coordinating when they will be moving, and we're going to help them move their stuff. And also, North Tower's front desk will become a help desk for them to go to for any questions they have before renovations begin.
A letter went out on Wednesday, November 12th, explaining to students the schedule for the renovation process. The Concord Housing Department apologized for any inconvenience, but also expressed their excitement about the upcoming improvements. For WMLT News, I'm Jesse Stevens.
Thank you, Jesse. At the beginning of the semester, students were welcomed back to the university with construction on several different areas of the campus. The changes in landscaping were made in an effort to make the campus more ADA compliant and more functional for students, employees, and faculty that require special accommodations while on campus. Although progress has been made, some argue that the university still has a long way to go. An elevator has been installed in the Fine Arts Building, but issues such as automatic ADA doors still have not been serviced and do not work in many buildings. Here today, I have Justin McPeak. He attends Concord and has to deal with these issues every day. Hi, Justin. Thank you for being here with me today. How long have you been a student here at Concord?
Well, I'm a junior here at Concord, and it's been really great for me this year.
What's your major?
I'm going into broadcasting journalism.
Okay. What buildings do you spend the most time in here on campus?
Mostly the Fine Arts Building. There's a automatic door as you go out of the building that still isn't working, but I know that there's people like Rick Dillon that's trying to help get the door to be fixed.
Okay, compared to your previous years here on campus, what kind of changes have you seen?
Just better parking spots, van accessible parking spots, because I have a lift with a van in it, and they're starting to develop these van parking spots for me and for other people to use.
Okay, what areas do you see that still need to be improved on?
Just some different areas with the automatic doors. Some work and some don't. The automatic doors really need to be fixed and adjusted, in my opinion.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything else that you'd like to see to make improvements on campus, or anything you would like to say at all?
Well, probably just a little bit more van accessible spots so that people that have vans with lifts like me can just get to their classes easier and faster.
Okay. What about technology or equipment that would be in the classroom, such as the desk? Do you usually have the proper equipment that you need when you go into classes?
Usually I have to ask ahead of time that I need a desk, and they're usually right on the ball in getting me that equipment or that desk, whatever the case may be.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here today with me, Justin.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your perspective that a lot of us do not have. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Now here's Dalton Boggs with this week's Arcadian Game Review.
Thanks, guys. Today in Arcadian Game Reviews, I'll be talking about one of the biggest names in first-person shooting games today, Call of Duty. The latest game in the series to come out, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, is set in a not-so-distant future, where a military group named Atlas is fighting an ongoing war with a terrorist organization known as the KVA. The game features many futuristic advances, such as smart grenades and even various exosuits. The most important thing about this latest game is that it was made by a completely different development team. Sledgehammer Games, who are most famous for two of the most recent Transformers games, had picked up the slack where Treyarch and Infinity Ward had left off. While the game looks good and the single player is quite fun, it still tends to do the token Call of Duty thing where it throws you headfirst into the action without explaining the controls, or what's even going on. So through trial and error, you have to figure out what does what and try to survive. The multiplayer for the game is just about like any other Call of Duty game, a pain in the neck, but it can be fun at times so long as you aren't getting spawn killed. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is definitely a different take on the franchise, but also a welcome one. Who knows, maybe Sledgehammer Games will get to work on more titles in the future. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare gets 3 controllers out of 5. That's it for this week. This is Dalton Boggs, logging off.
Thanks, Dalton. Now here's Jesse Stevens with Take It or Leave It.
Thanks, guys.
If you like outrageous comedies, then Let's Be Cops is the perfect movie for you. It tells the story of two 30-year-old roommates who have, to say it lightly, seen better career days. Justin is a video game designer who's trying to sell his new idea, and Ryan is a former college football star who can't seem to find a new path in life. But everything changes when these two guys dress up as LA police officers. They realize that their uniforms give them a lot more power than they thought. They start chasing crooks and taking advantage of their false authority. Let's Be Cops does have a few struggles. It features several talented actors like Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr., and it even has an appearance by Keegan-Michael Key. But the issue is, a lot of the acting is kind of shaky. It's not that it's bad, it just seems like the actors are trying a little too hard to be comedy stars. And on top of all of that, the movie is filled with profanity and crude humor. It's almost like the writers couldn't think of any real jokes, so they just put in innuendos everywhere they could. All of that aside, Let's Be Cops is pretty hilarious. The storyline is so outrageous that you kind of have to laugh about it. Let's Be Cops scores 2.5 out of 5 stubs. It was released on DVD and Blu-ray just last week, so now might be a great time to pick it up. And that's it for this week's Ticket or Leave It. I'm Jesse Stevens. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Jesse. Now, here's Brad Sullivan.
Thanks, guys. Concord University clinched at least a share of the Mountain East Conference championship this weekend with a 51-14 win over Notre Dame on their senior day. Concord was led by junior running back Calvin All Jones, who ran the ball for 192 yards on 16 carries and 1 touchdown. Concord was also led by the Mountain East Player of the Week, TJ Smith, who had 8 catches for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. With the win, Concord is now ranked 2nd in the region and 12th in the national rankings. Concord will play Shepherd this Saturday, and with a win, they will win the Mountain East Conference outright. After asking a group of students, it was a consensus that Concord has a, quote, really good chance, end quote, of winning the championship next weekend at Shepherd. It should be an exciting game as the number 1 and number 2 teams in the conference meet. In other college football news, West Virginia University was upset by Texas this weekend 33-16. The 3rd-ranked Auburn Tigers were upset by Texas A&M 41-38, and in the game of the week, Alabama beat LSU 20-13 in an overtime thriller. In the NFL, the Cleveland Browns stayed hot, beating the Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. The New York Jets upset the Pittsburgh Steelers 20-13. The 49ers beat the Saints 27-24 in overtime. 49ers linebacker Ahmad Brooks stripped the ball from Drew Brees on the 25-yard line in overtime. That eventually led to the game-winning field goal. On Sunday Night Football, the Packers beat the Bears 55-14, with Aaron Rodgers throwing 6 touchdown passes in the first half. And on Monday Night Football, the Eagles beat the Panthers 45-21. Eagles running back Darren Sproles had 2 touchdowns in the game, including an 85-yard punt return for a touchdown. And in other NFL news, there's been an update to the Adrian Peterson story. Peterson, who was suspended for child abuse earlier this year, might be on his way to playing again this season. The NFL Players Association has filed an expedited grievance with the NFL to reinstate Peterson. Peterson has said that if the NFL does not make a decision on his future as far as how many games he is suspended, that he is open to suing the league. The Vikings players and coaches are hopeful for Peterson's return, but are not planning on his return this season. That's all for sports. I'm Brad Sullivan. Back to you guys at the desk.
That's all for WMLT. I'm Patrice Mitchell.
And I'm Daryl Johnson. Thanks for tuning in, guys.